And welcome everybody to the second floor of the Duncan Student Center. This is Shamrock Sports. My name's Ryan Murphy alongside Avery White. Avery, first time on the desk here for you.
It is. It's exciting.
Excited to have you here. It's also our JPW show.
Indeed.
My parents are in attendance. Yours are on the way.
They are. Last I checked, they were in Ohio. Making their way.
Glad that they'll be making the way. We have a lot coming up for you today. Michael Fishburne and Chris Daly and McKenna Andrew will all stop by the studio to talk some varied sports. Tyler Reedy will be here. Well, not here, but he'll be here virtually to talk about hockey. Let's start with men's lacrosse, though, who got their season kicked off on Wednesday night against Cleveland State. Let's start with the highlights for you over from Loftus Sports Center. The Irish ranked #1 in the nation to begin the season, hosting Cleveland State on Wednesday night. Let's start this one off here in the opening minutes. Chris Kavanaugh behind the goal. He uses the restart and the pick to swing out from the left side. Rips one home for his of the year. Notre Dame off to a good start. They lead 1-0 early. Cleveland State, though, they make this a game late in the first quarter. Now it's 4-2. Kavanaugh finds Jake Taylor, who finds the nylon, ripping that one home. ND leading by 3. They would go on a 8-0 run deep into the second quarter, eventually go up by 11. That's where we find Chris Kavanaugh working on his defender here. He finds Taylor again behind the back around the defender to score. Irish go up 14-2. They would end the half up 15-3. Here's another look. Taylor, no eyes necessary. A beautiful goal. Irish well in control of this. Head to the third. Notre Dame on the man up here with 12:29 to go in the third. Devin McLean, he finds Taylor again here on the pass, spinning around and ripping one home. That was his 7th goal of the game for Taylor, one shy of his own single game record. Notre Dame well in control of this one. They win it by a final score of 20-6 over. Start for the Irish, ranked #1 in the nation. Our men's lacrosse insider, Michael Fishburne, is here in studio with Avery White. Guys, take it away.
Thanks, Ryan. Looking like a strong start for the Irish. I'm here with Michael Fishburne, and we're going to see, Michael, what do we think we're looking like for the Irish this season?
Absolutely. Thank you, Avery. And first and foremost, a happy Valentine's Day to you all. And on the theme of love, I'm going to talk about a sports team that I love, and that is Notre Dame lacrosse. Now, unlike the Kansas City Chiefs, all eyes are set on an Irish three-peat. Notre Dame would become the first men's lacrosse program to do so since Princeton from 1996 to 1998. Now, from that last national championship team, we did lose some key players. We, of course, did lose Patrick Kavanaugh, a 2024 Tewaaraton winner, Liam Enneman, and Eric Dobson. Now, Kavanaugh and Enneman were first-round draft picks. Dobson was a second-round. Chris Kavanaugh is to take the helm. He will be the last of the Kavanaughs to go through the Irish lacrosse locker room, living up to hopefully his brothers Matt and Pat. Chris Kavanaugh this season will be entering a facilitator-like role for the Irish. Now, according to Inside Lacrosse, he is ranked as the second-ranked best player in all of men's lacrosse entering the 2025 season. He is 6th all-time in points in Fighting Irish history as of Wednesday. He eclipsed 9 points, which is his career high against Cleveland State, with 4 goals and 5 assists. Now, another guy who looked phenomenal was Jake Taylor. He looked more than promising. He is our 6th-year senior attackman. As Murph said, he didn't score 3, he didn't score 4, not 5, not 6. He scored 7 goals against Cleveland State. Absolutely phenomenal, 4 of which came within the first quarter. Now, furthermore, another storyline for this lacrosse team is Jordan Faison. He is to miss the entire month of February. He missed the game on Wednesday. He will miss Saturday against Marquette, and he will miss Georgetown. Coach Kevin Corrigan said they want to rest the two-way football and lacrosse player for the month of February to have him 100% ready for a deep run in May. Now, with all these guys gone and these guys stepping up, what do we have? We have depth all across the board. Coach Corrigan loves the depth that this team holds.
Yeah, given all those guys coming stepping up, how do you think this team can do this year? Do you think you can make it as far as you did the last 2 years?
Absolutely. The ceiling for this team is a national championship and an undefeated season. We are the betting favorites for a reason. We are the #1 ranked team as well for a good reason. We do have tests coming up, though. We have some losable games, of which that will be difficult. We're rematching Maryland, who we faced in the national championship last year, and Syracuse, who looks really sharp. This team will be tested on its road to the national championship.
All right, sounds good. So with Liam Enneman graduating last year, who do you see filling that goaltender spot?
Absolutely. It's going to be a two-way competition between Thomas Ricciardelli and Alex Zepp. Ricciardelli had the start on Wednesday. He was the #4 overall recruit in the class of 2022. He did look sharp, but he let up 6 goals. He had 4 saves, but did let up 6 to an attack that is not that strong. Zepp, he came in the 4th quarter. He had a clean slate that let up no goals and had 3 saves to his name. Now, whoever it may be, they're filling in possibly the biggest shoes in all of men's lacrosse. Entenmann was a 5-year starter for the Irish, a 2-time goalie of the year, 2-time ACC Defensive Player of the Year, and a Torrington finalist, one of only 3 to ever do so in men's lacrosse history. Now, I hold this opinion. A lot of other people in this building do, but I personally think Entenmann was the best goalie in men's lacrosse history, so his shoes may be impossible to fulfill, but what the Irish can do is look to the rest of the defense. We have a phenomenal defensive core with Sean Light. He, according to Inside Lacrosse, is ranked as the 3rd best player in all of men's division lacrosse. He is a first-team preseason All-American, along with 2 Irish defensemen in Ben Ramsey and Will Donovan. This team has the pieces, they have what it takes, and I hope that we can make a 3-peat.
Awesome. Sounding like an exciting season ahead. All right, we're going to throw it now to Ryan Murphy with our Friday headlines.
Thanks, Avery. It was a big night of off-season news for the Notre Dame football team last night as former defensive coordinator Al Golden was presented with the 2024 Broyles Award, which honors the top assistant coach in college football. Golden is just the 2nd Notre Dame coach to win the award. Bob Diaco won the award in 2012 for his efforts as the Fighting Irish's defensive coordinator following a national runner-up finish. Notre Dame's defense under Golden was dominant, leading the country in pass efficiency defense, turnovers gained, and defensive touchdowns. Under Golden's leadership, Notre Dame held 7 opponents to 125 or fewer passing yards this season, the most in all of the FBS. The Fighting Irish also limited 12 of their 17 opponents to 17 or fewer points. Golden departed Notre Dame last month, accepting a position as the defensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals. Here's what he had to say in his acceptance speech.
Thank you to Coach Freeman for believing in me, but not just believing in me, but to create and foster an environment that allowed me to be the best that I could be, that allowed all of the coaches on his staff to be the best that they could possibly be. And it was an incredible 1,000 days, not just with Coach Freeman, but with all the assistants that I had the pleasure to work with.
In more football news, ESPN's Adam Schefter reported early this morning that Marcus Freeman was finalizing a deal to bring Detroit Lions Director of Scouting Advancement Mike Martin to South Bend as the team's new general manager. The general manager position was previously held by Chad Bowen, who left for USC in January following a 4-year tenure with the Irish. Martin, a Vanderbilt grad, was an influential front office staff member in the Lions' rebuild under Dan Campbell. He spent 23 years in the NFL. With Marcus Freeman poaching Martin away from Detroit, it shows signs that the young head coach is looking to bring an NFL model to South Bend. That's it for your Friday headlines. Now Avery is standing by with Chris Daly to break down women's basketball's big matchup on Monday against the Duke Blue Devils.
Thanks,
Avery,
Ryan. I'm here with our own Chris Daly. We're going to break down some women's basketball. Looking like a big, exciting game on Monday. Number 13, Duke. What are we expecting for this big game?
Yeah, well, Avery, it's a huge game, and in the spirit of Valentine's Day, I want to echo something Neil Ivey has said game after game throughout this season: love. This Notre Dame women's basketball team plays with so much love for one another, so much love for the game. All-American Hannah Hidalgo is diving after loose balls. Leah Kane grabs every single rebound under the sun. So they play with this love, and if they can keep it up throughout this game against Duke, they should have, a perfect opportunity to cement themselves as the #1 team in the country, especially after last night. UCLA, the #1 team in the country, who have seemed to be a robot throughout the season, finally showed signs that they are human, and they lost to USC, a team that Notre Dame had beat. So last night against Pitt, they had a huge win. Notre Dame, they just need to continue upon the success that they have built. They need to use what they have learned so far throughout this season and carry it forward into Monday night.
Yeah, sounding good. So is there anything specific that you think poses a threat with this Duke team? Like, what is this matchup comparison going to look like for us?
Yeah, well, Duke has a player, Toby Fournier, 6'2" freshman forward who has been spectacular all season long for the Blue Devils. She has been very dominant inside the interior. So Notre Dame needs to limit how many times Fournier gets on the ball throughout the game. And if they can do that, Notre Dame will have a much better chance at winning. Now, Duke, their bench has 33 points per game, places them #2 in the country. Meanwhile, Notre Dame, however, they're shooting 51.4% from the field. And you could see 7 for 7 from 3. So they are one of the best teams in the country, shooting number 1 actually from beyond the arc. So Notre Dame has everything they need to do to be successful in this game. Again, they just need to carry it forward. They need to do what they have done so far. They need to limit Fournier getting on the ball. And if they can keep shooting like they have, Notre Dame, I mean, they shouldn't have an issue. They should march into this game confident. They should march into this game ready and expecting to win and firmly cement themselves as the number 1 team in the country.
Definitely. Sounds like that confidence is key. All right, we're going to step off over to Ryan Murphy with another exciting matchup over hockey with Tyler Reedy.
Thanks so much, Avery and Chris. A lot of exciting things happening in women's basketball. A lot of exciting things happening for hockey. Really more for us, though, the fact that we have Tyler Reedy here with us from Penn State, from State College. Tyler, how's State College, man? We're so glad to have you on the show.
Yeah, glad to be here again virtually. Last week from Compton, and this week we're about an hour away from heading over to Pagula for this 2-game weekend series. First of a 2-weekend road trip here for the Fighting Irish. State College has been great so far. It's a pretty nice day. The sun's out. It's chilly, of course, but had a great time walking around campus earlier and seeing all the sights, learning some history, figuring out what exactly a Nittany Lion is. So it's been a lot of fun, and should be a pretty fun weekend here in State College. Crowd's always lively, great student section. So looking forward to seeing what it's like in the building here tonight.
Well, no one likes to tour college campuses quite like you do, Tyler. Rough stretch so far for Notre Dame hockey right now after getting swept at home against Ohio State just last weekend. What are kind of your expectations for this Irish team, trying to maybe still build some momentum heading into the Big Ten tournament as the regular season winds down?
Yeah, well, the number one thing for me is that they've got to find a way to tighten things up on the defensive end. If you look at Notre Dame in 2025 Big Ten play so far, they've played 8 games within the conference, given up at least 3 goals in all of those games. And of course, that's translated to losses more often than not, the 5-1 losses last weekend at home against Ohio State. And Penn State is a team that, even though they are currently 6th in the Big Ten standings, just re-entered the top 20 at number 18, is really good offensively. It's always been their identity, taking a lot of shots, putting the puck in the net, especially at home. They're 8th in the country, 3rd in the Big Ten in goals per game. So if Notre Dame isn't tight with its defensive coverage and doesn't have a heroic goaltending performance from Owen Sayre, Nicholas Kempf this week, and it's easy to see the Nittany Lions putting up 4, 5, maybe 6 goals in a game on either night. And the Nittany Lions have the scores to do it. Aiden Fink, their sophomore forward, a Nashville Predator draft pick, is the leading player in college hockey in terms of points per game. He's got 41 points on the season, 21 goals and 20 assists. So it'll be a tough one to slow down. Notre Dame has to key in on him and really try and limit these top 2 Penn State lines. They're littered with 20-point scores, and try and find some productivity, especially from that third line themselves. The Irish have moved back to some of their early season groupings at the forward position. Danny Nelson's back with Ian Murphy and Brennan Ali. Cole Knuble, Justin Janicki, and Blake Biani. That's been the top producing second line all year, but I'm looking for maybe Carter Slaggert, Grant Silanoff, Hunter Strain. Slaggert and Strain especially have had some success in the new year. They're going to have to produce this weekend if the Irish want to keep up with Penn State and score on Arseny Sergeyev, who's been the hottest goaltender in the country maybe. He leads the nation in wins overall, or rather second in the nation, leads the Big Ten in wins in 2025 with 7. So the Irish are going to have to figure him out and figure things out as well on the defensive end.
Friday and Saturday weekend set for the Irish in State College. Tyler, thanks so much. You're not going anywhere, though. Stick around. JPW Trivia at the end of the show. Avery, myself, and Tyler and I will do battle for some trivia glory coming up at the end of the show. Thanks so much, Tyler. We're going to take a quick break and head over to another junior, Kian Bagenstos, who has you filled in on some more football news.
One major piece in Notre Dame's great exodus this offseason was running backs coach Deland McCullough, who was instrumental in Audric Estime and Jeremiah Love's dominance. Fortunately, it seems like Notre Dame will not be experiencing any drop-off, as they will be hiring Penn State running back coach Jajon Sider. Sider served as Penn State's running back coach from 2018 to 2024, and during his tenure, the Nittany Lions averaged 178 rushing yards per game. In 2 of Sider's years with Penn State, the Nittany Lions averaged over 200 rushing yards per game. 2024 was arguably some of Sider's finest work, as true freshman Nicholas Singleton, 1,061 rushing yards, and Katron Allen, 830 rushing yards, became the first freshman duo in the history of the Big Ten to both rush for 700-plus yards in a season. Since 2000, only one other true freshman duo, West Virginia's Steve Slatton and Pat White 2005, has been able to do what Singleton and Allen have done. Singleton also joined Saquon Barkley as the only freshman to eclipse the 1,000-yard rushing mark in a season. Based on Singleton and Allen's success last season, it is clear that Sider is great at producing dominant running back units and not just dominant running backs, which is perfect for Notre Dame. Last season, Jeremiah Love had 1,125 yards and 17 touchdowns, and Jadarian Price had 746 yards and 7 touchdowns, which is very, very similar to the type of production Singleton and Allen had at Penn State last season. In the past 3 years, Notre Dame has averaged 192 rush yards per game, which is only 2 rush yards more than Penn State, and only 217.2 pass yards per game. With this, it is clear that the bread and butter of ND's offense is the run game. And to have a good run game, you must have a good rushing unit, which is what Sider specializes in.
Thanks so much, Kean. Even more news from the gridiron. There's also plenty of news going on from the diamond. And with that, we welcome in McKenna Andrew, our softball insider. McKenna, season started last weekend for Notre Dame softball, but it's not too late yet to kind of dig into those expectations for the season. So what are you expecting out of this Irish team?
Based on the Irish's performance last weekend, I would say I'm pretty optimistic. They did go 3-3 in Florida, which on paper may be a little dicey, but they played great competition. They dropped the first 3 to Morgan State, Kentucky, and 5th overall ranked Tennessee, Kentucky and Tennessee, 2 SEC powerhouse programs. But they played well. They had a few errors here and there, kind of struggled to get some hits strung together for runs, but the tide all changed Saturday night when they walked it off against 15th ranked Missouri. Jane Cronenberger, the senior, is to be attributed for that bottom of the 7th home run, with Michaela Castor getting the complete game 3 hitter with 7 strikeouts, and it was head coach Chris Ganeff's first head coach win after spending 23 years as the Notre Dame assistant coach. Really big showing against a powerhouse SEC program, and they managed to keep that momentum going throughout Sunday with big wins against Penn State and Bethune-Cookman.
Absolutely. You mentioned Chris Ganeff's opening season. You also mentioned Michaela Castor. You mentioned Jane Cronenberger. Who else are you kind of expecting, including those two? Are you expecting them to kind of play a big part of Notre Dame's success this season?
I would definitely watch Castor. The junior has been a powerhouse in the circle for the past 2 seasons for Notre Dame. Last year, she won a team best 10 games, striking out 72 batters and 101 innings of work. This year, she already has 12 strikeouts on the year and 11 innings. Great movement, great speed. She's definitely going to be one to watch on the pitching staff. Turning to the offensive side of the ball, I would definitely focus in on sophomore Addison Amaral. She was named to Softball America's preseason top 100 list, coming in at 71, which that's pretty impressive for a sophomore Notre Dame softball player. Last year, she batted a 340 average with 31 runs on 54 hits. She's also an amazing second baseman and was ranked 8th on D1 softball second base rankings this year. It'll be interesting to see if she can keep that momentum from her freshman season. And this year, so far, she's already had 6 hits, batting .375. And last week, she was named to the NFCA Top Performers of the Week list.
Definitely off to a great start. That start they're hoping to continue this weekend. The Irish are back in action with another tournament. What are you kind of expecting to see from this weekend's game?
So this weekend should look a little different than last weekend. They're in Myrtle Beach, and their opponents are not of the same caliber as the SEC competition they faced last weekend. They're actually playing right now. They're up 4-0 in the bottom of the 5th to Marist. The rest of this weekend, they face Coastal Carolina, Townsend, and Kent State. Not as strong programs, so what the Irish really need to capitalize on is keeping that momentum going forward and really dominating in Myrtle Beach this weekend, keeping those bats hot, keeping those runs stringing together so that they can come back and start play in South Bend on a really good note.
Irish looking to build some momentum this weekend. You said it. Personally, I'm looking to build some momentum in my trivia game. That's how we're going to close out the show. McKenna Andrew, thanks so much stopping by with some softball news. We'll be back to finish the show up with some JPW trivia just after this.
No one told you life was gonna be this way. Your job's a joke, you broke, your love life's the old way. It's like you're always stuck in second gear. When it hasn't been your day, a week, a month,
Thank you, everyone. I'm back here with Ryan Murphy and Tyler Reedy, virtually. We have some JPW Junior Parents Weekend trivia for you. I know the questions.
First, let's give the
not.
people some context. Tyler beats everyone at pretty much everything, like all the competitive stuff.
Yeah,
So if I get even close to winning this, I'm just putting it out there. That's a win for me.
I chose the questions.
All right.
With some help of our friends back in the studio. But should we get started?
Let's do it.
All right. So, Tyler, first question, and Ryan, where was? Let me clarify first. I'm going to give you 4 options, so these will be multiple choice.
Okay.
Question 1, where was Knut Rockne born? A, Voss, Norway. B, Springfield, Illinois. C, Gothenburg, Sweden. Or D, Jefferson City, Missouri.
Can we just answer whenever? Shout them out?
Yeah, should we shout them out at the same time?
Sure. Well, I'll go first for the first round. I'm going to say
Yeah,
A.
we'll alternate. We'll alternate.
I'm going to go for A.
Keep it fair.
Tyler,
You're going
Well,
A, okay.
I'm taking A as well.
Okay.
A is the correct answer.
All right.
You can't stump them. We're trying to pick these questions. I was like, it's going to be tough. They know a lot of Notre Dame trivia. Question number 2 we have, in 2007, Notre Dame played which team for the first time in 40 years? A, Texas. B, Florida State. C, Duke. Or D, USC.
Can you repeat the responses for me?
A, Texas.
Okay.
B, Florida State. C, Duke. And D, USC.
First of all, can we just make sure Tyler's not cheating here?
I was gonna mention that.
I just wanna.
We didn't confirm that
You,
he could be virtually cheating here.
You know what? I'm gonna assume that he's
Yeah, we'll
not.
just
I'm gonna go with C.
assume
I'll go with
academic
Duke.
honesty.
I'm a man of ethics, Murph. Don't go there with me. Come on. I'm taking Duke here.
I told you, they're hard to stump. C
Did-
is correct.
Did you get it right? I totally
Both got
guessed.
it correct. Yep.
You probably did. You know, Tyler? Did you remember?
It was between Duke or Texas for me. I mean, Florida State, obviously, and USC, they'd played before recently. But,
Right.
It's true.
Right,
It's
Yeah.
true.
I figured Duke, they'd go deep into the bag or something like that. So, yeah.
Yep.
Sure.
All right. So, all right, we're tied up. We have one more question. Gonna throw you a bit of a curveball here. This is a personal one.
Okay.
Yep, we'll see how well you guys know me and my family on the theme of Junior Parents Weekend. My dad came here, graduated in '92.
I could have told you that though.
Yeah, what dorm was he in? Ready for your options? A, Dillon Hall. B, Soren. C, Carroll. Or D, Keenan.
Can you say them again?
A, Dillon. B, Soren. C, Carroll. D, Keenan.
Okay. I'm gonna go with D, Keenan.
Tyler?
I'm gonna go different from Murph here. I will take Soren.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of your 2025 Junior Parents Weekend Trivia is Ryan Murphy.
Wow.
My father was in Keenan Hall.
I thought
Yeah.
it's not. I thought it was gonna be Flanner or Grace, and then you started reading the
Oh,
answers, and I'm like, I'm
I
wrong.
should have added one of those. as an option to trip you up. Well, successful, Ryan. Awesome.
This is
Sorry, Tyler.
my crowning achievement. Sorry, Tyler.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't let it end in a tie. I mean, nobody
I know.
wants.
I
I'd
was
rather
concerned.
lose than tie with you, Ryan.
Yeah.
Fair.
Very fair.
We agree on that.
Yeah. Well, great game, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our Junior Parents Weekend show. Anything else to say, Ryan?
No, thanks to everyone in the back for helping us out and staging this. This is always one of the favorite shows
Yes.
of the year.
Thanks for having me on my first show.
Yes.
No one
great
I'd
job.
rather do it with. For Michael Fishburne, Chris Daly, McKenna Andrew, and all of us here at Shamrock Sports, thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful weekend, Valentine's Day, and go Irish.